I definitely class them as entry level. So if you've never raced in a carbon plated shoe before and you want to try one out, now these are the shoes that you should be looking at. In today's shoe comparison review, we've got a bit of a super shoe battle here for you. We've got the New Balance SC Elite V4 up against the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. So we're going to talk about their similarities, differences and their key features, and hopefully from that, that's going to give you guys a great indication of choosing the right shoe for you. But before we get into it, I've got to give my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong, a massive shout out. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also, if you really want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, so just checking out our quick specs here. Now what's jumping out to me is just the price difference between these two shoes. So for me, I consider these shoes pretty evenly matched. So I would expect to see them at the same price point, but they're not. So a little more expensive here in the SC Elite. Does the performance warrant that? I'm not too sure yet. Now in the weight as well, a fair bit of difference here, especially for racing shoes in the weight. So the Pro 4 coming in at a fair bit lighter than the New Balance. Can you actually feel that on the foot? Well, for me, no, you can't. They both feel just as light as each other, even in the hand and on the foot. Both really can't tell the difference. Now what you can notice in the stats of these shoes is certainly the drop. So the New Balance certainly feels like the flatter shoe over the Endorphin Pro. And in our uppers here, so what they use in the New Balance is what they call phantom fit. Now this material, it feels quite plasticky, it feels scratchy to the touch, but it's very light and it's very breathable, nice and flexible, just what you want in your race day shoe. Padding wise in this shoe, it's got hardly any padding around the heel collar here. It probably needs a little bit more padding. The tongue has virtually no padding at all. It's like a felt type material. The tongue is not gusseted in this shoe. Now the lacing system, pretty standard here, straight up and down the foot. They've got very thin and fiddly laces, which I'm not that keen on. Now the lockdown in this shoe could be better. As I said, it needs a little bit more padding, I think, around the heel collar here, because you can get a little heel slippage. You need to play around with the laces and put the bit of the runner's knot on this shoe to actually secure that foot down. Fit wise though, this shoe fit is true to size, and it's got a nice wide toe box, very voluminous toe box, which is quite nice. Now in the Endorphin Pro, what you're going to find is it's a bit more of a material feeling in this engineered mesh, but still very light and very breathable, just what you want. Yeah, we've got more padding here around the heel collar than what you're going to find here, so it's got a nice amount of padding, this Pro 4, and they've got quite a lot that just rests on the Achilles, and that's exactly where you want it, and that really helps the lockdown of this shoe. So the lockdown in this shoe is more superior than what it is in the New Balance. But the tongue in this shoe, so very different tongue here. We've got a stretch knit tongue, and it's actually sewn into the shoe, so it's actually quite like a birdie design. But you can see how flexible and stretchy this tongue is. It's quite nice. They've got a little pull tab on top of the tongue as well that you can flip over and actually hide these really long and stretchy laces in this shoe. Haven't had no issues with the laces in this shoe whatsoever. Now the fit in this shoe again is true to size, however this is a more of a narrow shoe compared to the New Balance, so far less volume in the toe box. Right, and in our outsoles here, so both these shoes pretty much have identical rubber coverage, so both pretty much the entirety of the forefoot is covered, and both a little bits of rubber in the high wear areas at the back. In the middle of the shoe you can both see some exposed foam, and you can also see the exposed carbon plate in the gaps at the bottom of those shoes. Now where these shoes are different is obviously the grip pattern in the shoe, so the grip in the rubber. So they use these nice little diamond pattern shapes within the rubber here of the New Balance, and the rubber compound I think is much softer than what you're going to find in the Pro 4. But this pattern and this rubber compound makes this shoe incredibly grippy in all conditions. So in the wet this thing is amazing, in the dry this thing is absolutely amazing. Now the pattern that they use in the Pro, they've got a new lattice design. So Saucony in the past have had issues with their rubber compound in the wet. I'm not sure if it's too hard or whatever they're using, but it doesn't agree with a wet bitumen road, that's for sure. It gets very, very slippery. But they've changed the pattern up. They've got a lattice design, and it is slightly improved from previous models. However, it's still got its issues, so it still gets a little greasy. So in the grip department, the New Balance absolutely wins hands down here. However, durability wise, I think the Pro 4 is certainly the more durable shoe. And in our midsole, so the foam that they use in the SC Elite is Fuel Cell. However, it's going to be a different formulation if you've used a New Balance shoe in the past or you've had the Elite before. They've finally now got a full PEBA midsole, so that is a great upgrade from all their previous models. So it's nice and soft and it's a bouncy type foam. Really, really great upgrade. Within that, they've got a full-length carbon plate that's obviously giving this shoe some rigidity. So as you can see there, it's a pretty stiff shoe. However, we've got a nice little flex point there just under the toes or just under the top of the foot there. And also we've got some rocker geometry as well. And it starts about here, so it starts further back in the foot and it's more of a gentle type rocker. So you haven't got an aggressive lean forward in this shoe. Right, so the midsole in the Pro 4, so they've got a bit of a dual density thing going on here. So they've got a top layer or a footbed layer of their premium racing foam, their Power Run HG. That's the foam that they use in their top tier racing shoe, the Endorphin Elite. And encasing that is their other super foam or their Power Run PB foam. Is what they use in all their other previous models, and also the Endorphin Speed, if you're familiar with that foam as well. Now within that foam as well, they've also got a full-length carbon plate giving this shoe some rigidity. Now this shoe is super stiff, so it's certainly stiffer than the New Balance. As you can see there, we've got a bit of a flex here, but this Endorphin Pro is one of the stiffest shoes on the market for sure. And geometry-wise, so they've definitely got a 4-foot rocker here in the Endorphin Pro. What they call their rocker is their speed roll technology. And comparing to this shoe here, the rocket sensation or the tip forward sensation is actually a little later in this shoe. It's not too much later, but it's a little later. So you can certainly feel this rocker is more aggressive, so you've certainly got more tilt forward in this shoe. Right, so in our rides here, so what you're going to find in the SC Elite, so this ride is nice and soft, there's a good amount of bounce to it. The rocker itself, I said, it's not too aggressive, so you're not going to get that tilt forward feeling. It feels quite traditional. It's really versatile, it feels great at all speeds, so you can jog in this thing, and then you can pick this pace up in it, and it feels great as well. It's just not going to feel super propulsive, and it's not going to feel snappy. But yeah, really, really comfortable ride here, nice and bouncy. And what you're going to get in the Pro 4 is actually quite different to what you're going to find here. So this one is very efficient, it's firmer, it's a stiffer shoe. It's going to feel more rocket, so it's a little bit more propulsive, but there's no bounce or energy return or wow factor. It's just a clean, smooth ride. Incredibly stable, and again, incredibly versatile shoe. This shoe feels great at all paces as well. Feels great to jog around in, and when you want to pick up the speed, it's good to go with as well. What both these shoes lack is probably that wow factor or top end speed of those top tier race shoes deliver. However, both incredibly versatile shoes, but both deliver very different experiences. So soft, bouncy, this one very efficient, clean and smooth. But if I've got to give the win to the midsole and rider, either of these shoes, I'd prefer the ride in the New Balance, and that's just because of how comfortable the ride is. Their sweet spot is obviously they're built for the marathon. They've got all that stack height. However, you can certainly race the shorter distances in it. However, these shoes are going to really shine at that marathon pace. They're going to be great for your long runs. They're going to be great for your workouts as well. And as I said before, they're very versatile. You can actually jog in these shoes. So two of the most versatile racing shoes on the market. Right, so just wrapping it all up. So I think what we've got here is two really great entry-level carbon-plated racing shoes. So I certainly don't consider these shoes in the top tier of all the racing shoes that are out in the market. So certainly they're not in the league of what your Alpha Fly is, or your Endorphin Elite, or your Rebellion Pro. These ones, I definitely class them as entry level. So if you've never raced in a carbon plated shoe before and you want to try one out, now these are the shoes that you should be looking at. So these are both very safe shoes. They're very versatile shoes. You can wear them for all your workouts. They're both nice and stable, and you can both pretty much run in these shoes all day. So very low risk carbon plated racing shoes right here. So remember guys, it's going to come down to what you prefer in your shoe. Remember, the key differences are here in these shoes. So the New Balance is going to give you a softer ride. It's going to be a little more bouncing, a little bit more forgiving. What you're gonna find in your Pro, remember, it's firmer, it's cleaner, it's probably more efficient shoe, it's a more rocket shoe. You're probably gonna feel a little faster in this shoe. In the fit wise, remember this has got the wider toe box. This one's a little bit narrower, so just think about that as well. Lockdown wise as well, you may need to play around with this lockdown a little bit. Play around with your laces to nail this lockdown. Now this one feels pretty good off the bat. If I could just pick one of these shoes, I'd probably go with the New Balance just because the ride is just so comfortable. So I think this is just an amazing shoe. It just sort of melts away on your foot and you forget it's there. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Interested to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share your experience in either of these shoes if you have that, or if you've got any questions with anything I didn't cover, just drop that in the comments below. Love to read those. But anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.